Welcome back to Central Valley Talk. I'm Mike Briggs. You know, we used to be a regional Central California talk show, but then this COVID thing came along and it shut us down. We were out of business for months and months, and we stumbled upon this Zoom technology where we're able to bring in authors from all over the world. We've been talking to people from South Africa and France and Italy and all these exotic places. And so we've changed the name to Briggs on Books. So that's who we are. That's where we are. Speaking of exotic places, foreign places, our next guest is from Louisiana, C.J. Boyle. Welcome, C.J.
Hello, how are you?
Do you have it right? You're in Louisiana somewhere?
Yes, I'm just outside of New Orleans. So, New Orleans Metro, basically. It's a big area. So.
Now, I had this big introduction ready for you, and I forgot, but let me just read it. Star Trek meets the Big Bang Theory in this hilarious sci-fi mashup that follows Captain Kirk Rogers on his quest to save the universe. Now, that describes your books, right?
Right. The Kirk Rogers series, The Adventures of Kirk Rogers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you call it? Sci-fi fantasy?
It's sci-fi comedy, mostly.
Oh, comedy.
As you can, I think probably a lot of people are going, oh, that's original, Captain Kirk. That's the point. It's supposed to be comedy. So I have a lot of Easter eggs that kind of, point to all of that stuff in the books. There's 4 books so far, and I've never counted all the Easter eggs in it, but I'm sure that there's hundreds.
Hundreds in there. By the way, you say, Big Bang Theory meets Star Trek. Is it a smart comedy, like smart humor, like Big Bang Theory?
Yeah, so one of the premises of it is that one of the characters gets basically transported to the inside of the moon, right? She's sick, she has her personal computer with her, and she's got a lot of episodes of the Bazinga Factory on it, which is basically the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
And the AI inside the moon takes on the image of Sheldor, which would be Sheldon of the Big Bang Theory. So that's why, and he's a big part of the Sheldor, or Shelley is a big part of it, which is another kind of like Easter egg of the whole thing.
Shelley.
It's supposed to be funny, and the great thing about it is, even though I'm bringing in, it's kind of like a mashup type thing, even though I'm bringing in all these storylines or people from Stargate or whatever, it has a story of its own. So like if you didn't know what I was talking about or referring to at all, you would still enjoy the book. Now,
the Kirk Rogers, the one, Something Fallen, is that your current book?
Conspiracy of the Fallen is a totally different series, but yeah, it is my current work in progress. The book one of that was published last year. And I've been over a year now trying to write the second book.
Let's look at the cover of that one, Conspiracy of the Fallen.
Sure.
And that is Kirk Rogers on the cover, no doubt.
No. Conspiracy of the Fallen, like I said, is a separate series than the Kirk Rogers series.
But still, it's sci-fi. It's a sci-fi comedy.
Yes. It is sci-fi, but no, it's not comedy. It's more of a drama. It still has action in it, but the Kirk Rogers series is a sci-fi comedy action adventure type deal, and the Conspiracy of the Fallen is more serious.
More serious.
A little bit political too.
Nice, I like it. Well, let's go to the Kirk Rogers series. Who's your audience on that?
Well, anyone that would like Star Trek or Star Wars or Stargate, anything to do with anything that has star in the title.
So it could be young people, like even teens, up to old people like me who kind of are still holding on to the whole Star Trek thing.
Yes. I really wish some of the younger Star Trek fans would get into it, but when I run my ads, you basically see the target audience is over 45, and they're mostly men. So... but I'm a woman. I love Star Trek.
Yeah, I know. It's funny that so many women do. Not funny. It's curious that so many women do. And it was kind of just you weren't even born probably when those came out, were you?
My dad, he was a huge Star Trek and, basically science fiction fan. So I grew up watching Star Trek.
You watch them. Did you know they were reruns when you're
No,
you
I mean, when I was growing up, I was all into it, and I rewatch them too, and that like I said, there's a lot of Easter eggs inside of so like I would call something Farpoint Station, or I would call Captain Kirk Captain Dunsel or something like that. Yeah. Excuse me. And that's all kind of like inside jokes for people who, have watched the series.
Yeah.
Some
people will get a lot. Some people will get a lot of the jokes. Some people will get some of them probably, or a lot of the Easter eggs, I should say.
Right. Like in the second book, the aliens on that planet are called Melkotians. That's directly from the old sci-fi Star Trek.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So the Kirk Rogers series. That's what I'm going to read first. Sorry.
Okay.
How many books are in that?
4.
4 books. Okay, we saw all 4 on the cover there, and then after those came out, then you came out with this new book.
Right, Conspiracy of the Fallen. I have actually 12 books
on
Amazon. But the Kirk Rogers series has 4 books in it, and Conspiracy of the Fallen, it's going to be 2 books for sure. Okay. I don't think there's going to be a third one after that. But my one-hit wonder from years ago was Sarasart. For some reason, everyone just loved that book. And usually no one has anything bad to say about it. Unless you're just weird. But to believe it or not, I resented the book because no one seemed to like anything else. I was like, I don't understand. You
got all this other great stuff, and they're still the first one.
Right. I mean, as a writer, you're supposed to love all your books equally, like your children.
They're your children. Right. Say the name of the first one. I saw it on Amazon, I think. Sarasart.
Yes.
Sarasart, right. And is that the same genre, science fiction?
Same genre, but it's not a comedy. It's about a woman who is basically kidnapped by a bunch of mercenaries, and they're supposed to bring her home to the general, but they get sucked through a wormhole and end up on a different planet, and they basically have to work together to survive.
Right. Those wormholes, you never know.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Now, tell us, you have a website that people could go follow you a little bit?
I don't have one of my own. I basically just send them all to Amazon. I have an author page on Amazon.
Yeah, I saw that. It's beautiful, by the way. Amazon does a good job with those, and it's very impressive.
I figure, for me, I get annoyed when I'm trying to buy a book or I'm interested in a book. So if I'm doing an ad and it goes to my website first, and then I'm like, well, no, I want to buy this book, and so I have to go to another website. So I don't want that middleman in there. I want them to be able to just go to it and be able to buy it.
Right, I see. That and Amazon, those author pages are great. So.
Now, I do have All Author. I have one on All Author. It's for authors, and they have, but like I said, I don't like sending someone to the middleman. Yeah.
Let me ask you this: I'm just not so young anymore. I'm having trouble reading books because of my eyes. Are your books on what do you call Audible?
Yes, I have. Well, actually, a lot of them are. The whole Kirk Rogers series so far is on Audible. I have a fantastic narrator. His name is Jared Kadzia. He is so good. Yeah. He, he basically acts the part, which I love. So, like, there's one where the general puts a cigar in his mouth and he's talking. And so he must have put something in his mouth and talked. So it would sound like he was talking with his cigar in his mouth. And, like, if the character laughs, he'll laugh first and all that other stuff. I really love him. He's new to the game, but I really see him having a future, in narrating.
Audible books. Let's see. We're going past time. I just love talking to you. I could talk to you all day. Where do you want to end up? Should we look at the new book for a few minutes?
Sure. Okay. If you want to. I'm game.
And this is the one called... As soon as it pops up on the screen, I'll say the name. There you go. Conspiracy of the Fallen.
Yes, it is about basically a girl. She basically grew up all by herself after her parents died on a planet all by herself. And it's not even a nice planet to live on. It's very harsh environment and everything. And she spent 10 years literally by herself. And then, yeah, lo and behold, one day a spaceship magically just crash lands, like about a mile away from where she lives. And the thing is that it ends up that she was with her parents supposed to be on a convoy from Earth to a different solar system because Earth is no longer viable and all that other stuff. So her parents, they belong to a certain ship, and they're trying to claim first dibs on the planet since she's a citizen of that ship.
Aye.
So basically, she's a pawn.
Yeah.
In who gets good land on this, world. So yeah. Plus the fact that she's never had any experience with humans other than her parents before kind of complicates things.
Well, it sounds like the same problems and issues we face today.
Basically, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And, basically, and the poor thing, the whole lesson behind this is that humans really suck.
Yeah. Yep. Just like today, right? Anyway,
Yeah.
CJ Boyle.
Yeah, I feel like I'm being, terrible to her. And it's basically, her name is Eve, and the guy that crash lands on her is Adam.
Just happens to be Adam, yeah.
Yeah.
What age is Eve?
She's 23.
23. That's not a
Yeah.
kid. So is there going to be a little romance? Don't spoil anything, but
Yeah, you could probably classify it as a sci-fi romance. Because you can't take the romance out of the book and have it be the same.
yeah.
So as I understand it, the only way you can classify it as strictly science fiction is if the romance can be removed and it still be the same story.
All right. Now, let's see. So she's 23. She'd never really seen a man before except for her
Yeah,
father.
no. Except for her father, yes.
Where could this story possibly go? I don't know. Big Bang Theory.
Obviously, she has to fall in love with the first guy. She sits
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
he's injured. She has to take care of him for 3 weeks before they're rescued.
Yeah.
So
Better shop around, right? Oh, no shopping around.
Well, I think when you really come down to it, even though she's 23, it's sort of like a coming of age thing because she really knows nothing about humans, nothing about dating, nothing about falling in love, none of that stuff.
Yeah. Boundaries?
Say that again?
Does she know
Or
about
what?
boundaries? I guess she wouldn't.
Not really. She just she doesn't really know about lying or any of that other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it really kind of hits her hard as far as being betrayed and stuff like that. So
Fascinating. It's a fascinating story, fascinating idea, and all came out of C.J. Boyle's head there.
yeah, my brain babies. Yeah.
Now, as you're buying this book and as you're reading it to our audience, there's probably going to be a number 2, right?
Yes, there has to be because I kind of left them. It was not a cliffhanger, though some people may think it was, but because I feel like it's only a cliffhanger if you didn't resolve the first problem. We moved on to a potential second problem, and then it ended. So I don't really call it a cliffhanger, but some people kind of left that as in a review as heads up. It kind of just ends in a cliffhanger. So there's going to be a book 2, obviously.
Yep.
So I've been trying to write this book for about 14 months.
Wow.
I procrastinate a lot.
You're an author. It's by definition. Well, listen to our. Go ahead.
Without advertising, you're not gonna sell anything.
Right.
So I'm trying to do the social media hustle. I'm trying to advertise, and I'm trying to get the stuff out there, and basically sell books.
Yeah.
I want them to pay for my retirement one day.
There you go. There you go. Our guest is C.J. Boyle. By the way, I went to Amazon, typed C.J. Boyle, and boom. It's very easy to find her, very easy to order her books. You just press one button, and they show up at your house like the next day or something like that. So thanks for making it so easy, C.J. You and Amazon, hand in hand. All righty. Thank you. When I read your book, we're going to invite you back. How's that?
That would be awesome. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time. All the way from Louisiana on our little Briggs on Books. We'll be back with more authors right after this.